Welcome to Coruzant Technologies, home of the Digital Executive Podcast.
Welcome to the Digital Executive. Today's guest is Feida Zhu. Feida Zhu is the founder of Symphony Protocol and Pinnacle Labs for Analytics, and is also a tenured associate professor at Singapore Management University and conference co-chair of KDD 2021. Zhu has focused his career of more than 10 years in data science and academia, is considered a global expert in data mining, AI, and blockchain, and he also specializes in helping organizations leverage big data and AI for a wide range of business applications.
Well, good afternoon, Feida. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Brian.
Glad to have you. This is so exciting. I get really jazzed when I get to have a podcast that goes beyond the borders of our country, right? And I do this all the time, but we're now talking to Feida Zhu from Singapore, and it's so glad to meet you. And we want to jump right into these questions. So Feida, let's talk about your background a little bit. You've got quite the career in technology as an associate professor, and now you're the founder of Symphony Protocol. Could you share with our audience the secret to your career growth and what inspires you?
Yeah, sure. So my career so far in technology has centered around the theme of data. I'm really fascinated by data. So I graduated with a PhD degree from UIUC by working on a thesis on, graph data on large scale social networks. And then I joined Singapore Management University and quickly get in touch with a lot of social network data of societal scale here in Singapore. And I quickly realized that, these data are useful for business because they are about people, and business, as you know, essentially is about people, knowing more about people. So I devote a lot of time by working on these, data to bring the value out for all the industries, both in public and private sectors. And that's why you can see I founded these joint labs with industry giants for different industries. And then while we are creating values out of these data, we realize that there is actually a potential problem with that, is because there is a growing concern about users' data privacy, and at the same time how to enable data collaboration among all kinds of business in a collaborative environment, and that's become more important. So that's why I realized actually from year 2015 that we have to treat data not just as computational resource, but more as an emerging, asset. And so far, the research in data science and computer science has largely focused on the computation aspect of data. And, how can we be more efficient, and how can we create, compute on larger data? But we pay less attention to those, economic aspects or more, topics. Not so much on pure computation, for example, how to price data, right? How to audit data. So these are new topics on the frontier that we have to address in order to really enable this data-driven economy. And that's why we started the Symphony Protocol in year 2018, aiming to really do a data-driven economy, and by providing a blockchain-based platform with privacy by design. Yeah, so that's roughly, the flow, and I call this really data by the people, of the people, for the people, because essentially we are working around the data about the user, and then we try to bring the value while protecting people's privacy.
Great.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. And I always love talking about how people like yourself, entrepreneurs that are literally looking at truly pioneering in a particular industry or technology. And if you look back to even 200 years ago, pioneers, that term, it was a big deal, and it still is. So I appreciate you sharing all the work that you're doing in that fintech industry. So thank you. And so, Feida, we're going to talk a little bit about the pandemic, right? Hopefully it's going to lift. We hope that this Delta variant will go away. We don't know what's going on yet, but what are your plans for business growth going forward? And will it be any different than the last 16 months?
Yeah, sure. Obviously a lot of things are moving online and moving to non-contact and mobile. That's actually a big trend. That's actually good for business and for platforms like ours, because mainly we're looking at digital trace of people. So in traditional offline business, it's actually harder to record down all those transactions and record all the users' behavior. But nowadays, because we have to, order food online and do remote working, education, entertainment, and we are leaving the tons of digital trace on all the platforms and mobile devices and our cell phones. So, data becomes more abundant and useful. Now, the key question is again, how to establish trust with the user such that, you can leverage the value of the data without violating their privacy. And at the same time, also, you need to provide incentive to the user at the same time. So moving to the post-COVID area, I think we are going to still highlight on these two pillars, trust and incentive, while leveraging the more abundant user data on all the digital traces. Yeah.
That's awesome. I've talked about this probably 300 times in the last year about how we all had to make some major pivots and shifts, and we leveraged technology or innovated technology or just even innovated a process so that we are able to adapt to all these changes of being remote. So thank you for sharing that. And Feida, you're obviously leveraging some new and emerging technologies within your tech stack. Is there something you can share with our audience today?
Sure. So traditionally, data mining and data science, we've been looking at a lot of machine learning, artificial intelligence, and data mining algorithms. But as I said, as I gradually realized that there were actually more than that in enabling such a data-driven economy, we have to solve problems. For example, like I said, how to build trust among different business entities such that they are willing to contribute data and bring value out of that. And we are looking at how to allocate value in a more fair manner among the three parties in the whole ecosystem: the user, the developer, and the data consumers. I call them data consumer. It could be any business or any agency or company. So that's why we have to leverage new technology, for example, like the distributed ledger technology. So I started to look at distributed ledger technology starting from year 2016, where I realized, this sometimes we also call it blockchain technology, can provide both trust and incentive to the data asset we're talking about. So at the same time, we can leverage those privacy-aware computational technology and the tamper-proof distributed storage at the same time. And then we can also use the tokenomics to create new, incentive system to incentivize the multiple parties in the whole environment. So distributed technology and all its related technologies are a big chunk of new technology that I'm currently looking at. And also to look at the data asset and the governance, we have to also look at how to design new ways, for example, to, like I said, to price data product, right? Not only for raw data, but for processed data, like data labels or machine learning algorithms. And then we also need to look at technologies, for example, how to audit data. Now we all know financial auditing, right? But as data becomes an asset, and as everybody realizes that data has great value, so how to actually audit the usage of data, right? When we look at model, how can we guarantee that this model has actually used a certain piece of data or not? And how much the model has benefited from a certain training data? So all these need to be audited with a new set of technology. Yeah.
I love that. You should share several examples of what you're either currently researching or doing, again, on that cutting edge technology, pioneering this space. And this is really exciting. I'm glad you're sharing that with our audience. So Feida, last question. Can you share something from your career experience that might be helpful for those looking to grow their career in tech or entrepreneurship?
Yeah, the first thing is I think, we really have to keep an open mind and always when we're constantly looking at new problems. And when we look at the problem, although sometimes it's tempted to always look for an easy and quick solution, but ultimately we have to look at the fundamental one that may be oftentimes really hard. but that's really worthwhile. But at the same time, we should really keep an open eye to all kinds of technology. Like distributed technology has been there for a long time. And until a few years ago, it has not really been regarded really highly by the research community. But as we are realizing, from all these applications, including cryptocurrency, that distributed ledger technology can actually provide the base of a whole new class of new economy. We call it virtual economy. We start to devote more attention to them. If you look at the recent years academia, we have top conferences and journals start to publish these articles. And just an example, the coming KDD, ACMC KDD 2021 conference that I'm working as general co-chair for it. We have a trusted day, okay, in which we are gathering, experts, researchers, practitioners from all disciplines to discuss these topics under the general theme of trust. And I would really welcome everybody to take a look at this conference. So the other thing is, I think for everybody in this tech community, we really have to, sometimes you have to really pay attention to this new and little ideas and never ignore anything that seemingly, small, or at the same time, because as we look at more and newer applications, some of these new technologies soon will grow to be so big that, it could actually lead to a whole new area. Yeah.
I love that. And the thing that I do want to re-highlight here, Feida, is you're absolutely right. The KDD 2021 conference, and your conference co-chair. So I think that's important, and we definitely want to get the word out on this because it's a very big conference and people need to be well informed. So again, thank you so much for all the sharing that you've done today. And Feida, it was a pleasure having you on today, and I look forward to speaking with you real soon.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. And I love to speak to you anytime. Yeah, thank you.
Bye for now.